Hey there guys! For today's review, I'm going to be talking about The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. This is the sequel to The Wrath and the Dawn, and the final book in the duology. So if you don't want to be spoiled for The Wrath and the Dawn, you should probably not watch this video. Otherwise, there's going to be no spoilers of this book, just, it's a sequel. Ta-da! So, The Wrath and the Dawn was probably my favorite book of 2015. If you saw my 2015 wrap-up, then I just basically raved about that book. It might have been my favorite book of 2015 almost, except for, Sarah J. Maas books, which are always a different echelon entirely. And I couldn't wait for this book. I was literally obsessed. I think I screeched when I heard that it was coming out earlier than the May release date that it had at first, and so I was ready for this book. I gave Wrath and the Dawn 5 stars, and then this happened, and this was disappointing to say the least. Wrath and the Dawn might have been one of my favorite books of 2015, and thus far I think that The Rose and the Dagger is one of my most disappointing. That's not to say that this is a bad book. I still give it about 3.5 stars, but oh god, it had issues. So the book opens up with Shahrazad taken away from Khalid because the city has fallen apart, and so Shahrazad is now with Tariq, who is still like, I think that you should be in love with me and not him, and with all these people, and she's trying to find this way to get back to Khalid, and that's all she wants. And you know what? She finds it super easily, and then it's like, oh my gosh, wait, there's this way to break the curse, and I think what this book suffered from is the fact that it is a duology, and this whole book was so back-ended by new characters, new magic, new worlds, new species, that it just felt so rushed and so hurried, and I struggled to articulate this without, talking about some of the things that spoiler it, but just even the ending, there's this crazy twist. It's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. And then it immediately resolves itself. And that's how I felt the entire plot of this book was. It set up some really, really cool things that instantly resolved themselves without a lot of effort and without a lot of tension, because there was so much to get through and so much to do. So there's a couple of twists in the ending, and there's one that I just talked about, but there's also another one. Of course, I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but that one I genuinely freaked out and went, oh my god, this is so cool, I think this is so great. And then nothing's done with it. It's like, oh yeah, there's this crazy twist, but don't worry, it doesn't actually impact the plot of the novel, and it's just more of a plot device as opposed to a twist. I don't know. It's so hard to articulate how frustrated I was with this book, because the pacing was so off and the characters got shunted into so many corners. Like I said, it's not a bad book, still 3.5 stars, which is still pretty good for me. I love Renee Ahdieh's writing, and I love the story, and I love Shahrazad and Khalid, and they're beautiful together, and I also really liked what happened with Tariq's character. I think that he does get to grow in this book more than you generally see a character kind of on the outside of a love triangle looking in grow, and that was really exciting. I think that some characters in this definitely got shafted in sad ways that were emotionally pleasing, and not just felt like they just kind of happened. But again, there are relationships in here that begin in this book and end in this book, or are forced to some really climactic conclusion in this book that I didn't feel it earned, because it tried to do it in such a short period of time. And I don't know, it was just one of those books where as I was reading it, my heart just kept sinking, because after all the buildup of what I wanted this book to be, it not only wasn't what I wanted it to be, but then it tried to become something else and didn't do it very well. So yeah, I am really sad about this. I'm really sad about this book. I'm glad that I own it, and I'm sure I will continue to love The Wrath and the Dawn a lot, and I don't think that it makes that series any less worth it to read, because they're beautifully done writing style, and like I said, The romance is one of the few that I really get attached to because I'm not really into romance anymore because of YA. But in terms of a successful sequel and a book that did everything that The Wrath and the Dawn did for me, this just wasn't it, and it was really disappointing and really cut and pasted together in a certain way and unresolved. And I'm happy for them all in the end, of course. And I do like duologies in the sense that, you know, it's one book to open, one book to close, and I think that that can sometimes negate the issue that trilogies have, where the second book is all this stand-in action that doesn't really go anywhere. But this book just needed more space, and because it didn't have that space, it just felt really rushed and unfortunate and disappointing. So yeah, I'm really, really, really sad. Well, what can you do? Those looking for the completion of Sarjad and Khalid's romance will, of course, be pleased to see their characters, you know, back together again in this book. But if you're looking for a plot that is smooth and unrushed and really emotionally satisfying, unfortunately, you are not going to find it in this book. Again, really happy with growth of characters, the main characters anyway, but the new auxiliary characters and the new plot lines, there was just so much shoved in on top of it that it really just got flustered and messy. So yeah, if you like Shahrazad, Khalid, and Tariq, this book will give you some things that are really good, but otherwise it'll just be frustrating. Sorry guys. Next week, I'm going to have a much better review of the new Sarah J. Maas, so hang in for that, because that book has restored my faith in humanity after how disappointing this was. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!